everyone, it's Imogen and welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my completed colouring pages for the month of September and my plans for October 2023. This could potentially be the last video that I do at home before I go off to uni in a couple of days. Yeah, it's quite manic at the moment, just trying to get everything ready, but I'm really looking forward to it. I do apologise if I don't sound quite like myself. I do always think that when I'm filming, when I listen back, it doesn't sound like I'm as ill as I feel, so that's a good thing because I don't want it to sound like I'm really nasally, but I don't feel great, and I hope that this is going to be instead of freshers flu because I really don't want to get that. But yeah, Tom, my brother, has been feeling ill, so obviously I'm gonna catch it. So I will do my best. I was having a lovely time last night on a live stream that I did, and it was really nice to be able to do that because I don't know if I'll get the opportunity to whilst I'm at uni. But I think I was saying in that video it was really nice to hear some responses about being excited about potentially seeing some parts of Oxford in my videos. I would really like to do a colouring vlog or two if I can, and also just show you some of Oxford. It's such a beautiful place. So the first video that I'll probably do when I get there is a video sharing what I've bought with me, because I think that's always quite fun to do, especially because I've done videos of things that I've taken on holiday with me in the past, and obviously this is for an 8-9 week period, so it's a little bit longer. So yeah, some of the books that you'll be seeing are ones that I'm planning on taking with me. A couple I'm not sure about yet, so really depends how much packing space I have. But yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing these with you. So I've completed 3 pictures. I've got a whip at the moment, and then yeah, I've got some pages that I hope to do. So the first picture was a whip from August. This is from Minor Rise of Death Europa by Ruth Berman, and this was a page that I started whilst we were on holiday, and I was adamant that I needed to get it finished before we left because I didn't want to have an ongoing whip. Otherwise, if I came back home in December, I don't think I'd be working on this one anyway because it's not a wintry page and it's very much a summer page. So I'm really glad that I got it done because it would have been one of those whips that I wouldn't have come back to until potentially next June. So it's really nice to finish. So the page was a whip that I did share last month, as I said, and this is from the Italy section, I think, and I really wanted to do this page because I've been to Florence in my interrailing in July and I loved it so much, and I started this when we had a few days left of our holiday in Croatia, and I didn't want to start anything that was too detailed, but obviously as that ended up happening I didn't finish this picture, which was fine, but it would have been ideal obviously if I could have completed it then. But I think what I'd done up until I came back to it a few days ago was the background, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and all of the brown areas apart from what I ended up doing for the ice cream. So I didn't really have many of the large areas left. I just had lots of these details, sorry. And fruit and things always tend to take me a little bit of time just because I try and make them look semi-realistic. I always have the same colour combination that I do for strawberries, so that was nice. But yeah, I don't feel like it's the most cohesive page ever. I was never really expecting it to be that cohesive because there were so many different fruits, but I had fun doing it. It's definitely not one of my favourite pictures that I've done in this book. I think if I'd spent longer on it, I could have executed it exactly how I intended because I do really love this picture. But yeah, I'm really glad that it's done. So I used Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils as well as some Black Widow pencils as well. So they work really nicely in conjunction with each other. And I think I mentioned last month, but my idea for the background was to do the pink and the green because I was taking inspiration from the Italian flag. Obviously switching up the colours a bit, but yeah, that was my intention. I think what ended up happening was because that was so bright, was then trying to just figure out how to make other things stand out a bit more. I struggled with the ice cream because again I'd sort of come to that last and I'd done lots of these different fruits, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Like, I have fun doing it, but yeah, it's not one of my favourites. I drew the border in with pink because I didn't want a harsh black border or even a grey border, to be honest. I just thought that the pink would work quite well, seeing as I was going for the pink and green background. And in terms of embellishments, I used white gel pen. That was the Arteza one. I've been really liking those at the moment. What else have I used? I used fine liner for a lot of the areas, and then I went over with the Stardust paint by Calero, and it bled through a tiny bit. I'm not sure if you can see that. Well, it's shadowed, definitely. I would be able to cover that up, but that was because I put the paint over the fine liner, which I had forgotten that I shouldn't do. And I used a gold metallic not a Uniball, Jelly Roll pen, and I used the, I think it's called Sky Blue, the Calero Sky Blue paint for all of these dots, and then went over with one of my Graby acrylic paint pens. So yeah, not too much in the way of embellishments, but I had fun doing it, and that is that one finished. So that is probably my last summer picture for 2023. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink, sorry. So the next page I finished was also a whip, and this was from Fairy Miracles by Clara Markova. Now I think this was a whip from the beginning of July, because I think I started it before I went interrailing, and then I didn't manage to finish it before we went away in August. So it ended up being quite a long process, this page, but this was a buddy colour with Amber, and she ended up finishing hers quite a lot sooner before me, so I really appreciate her being patient with me. And we did these fairy bunnies, as I like to call them, fairy rabbits, and I was inspired by a wallpaper I saw in a cocktail bar that my mum and I went to in Paris. I'm sure I've shown this before, but this was the wallpaper. So I printed off some reference images as inspiration, and the background took me ages, as did all of the flowers. I think once I'd done those, I was sort of just determined to get it done, and maybe I rushed it a tiny bit. Maybe I could have spent a little bit longer on the leaves, but I think because I had already spent so long on it, I really wanted to just see the picture finished. So yeah, it's definitely an unusual colour palette for me, which I'm pleased about, because yes, it's all muted, but I wouldn't necessarily have thought to put all of these colours together. So it's really nice having that inspiration, because it definitely made me go out of my comfort zone a bit with this. So I used Prismacolor and Holbein. Well, I used Holbein pencils for pretty much all of it, but a couple of Prismacolor. So for the background, I used a few, but yeah, mainly it was the Holbein pencils. So I do always find it a bit tricky when I'm working on a whip and having to remember to keep the pencils aside to one side, and then yeah, it's I did find it a bit tricky trying to come back and colour these flowers and remember exactly how I'd done them before. So I think they look alright, but yeah, it was so fun to do, and the amount of hours though that I spent on it was crazy. I used the Stardust paint again by Calero on the wings, and also some white gel pen. Actually, this might have been an acrylic paint pen. And then I used one of the paints from Archie's Paints, and this would have been the pink one with gold glitter, I think, this one. So when it's put over the pencil, it comes up as gold instead of pink. So that one was really fun. And I think I used it also with the gold Jelly Roll metallic as well. So I tend to use quite similar embellishments at the moment. But yeah, it's done. I'm really, really happy about that. And maybe at some point I will come back and do this picture, but I tend to focus on the pictures in Clara's books, and then if I manage to do the opposing image to go with it, then I do, but I think it's all right. It did end up sort of buckling a bit more than I expected, but that's all right. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased that it's done, because it had been a long long process, and I was very excited to get back to working in this book as well, and starting my first page in the second copy that I was really grateful to have. So yeah, it's definitely made me want to work more in this, but I think if I do work in a Clara book again when I come back from uni, it will probably be her new book, Little Secrets of My Fairy House, just because I've done one page in that and I would like to do another one in that if I can. So yeah, that's Fairy Miracles. And then the final page that I completed was from Layla Dooley's Beautiful Planet. Now I do also have a whip in this, which I've shown it in my live stream and in my Colour & Commentaries episode 4 video as well. But the picture that I've finished was one that I worked on just throughout September, and it was a buddy colour with Rabius. We were doing a butterfly buddy colour because we don't really have any of the same books, or we don't work in similar books. I think she has a lot of Joanna Basford ones, but I don't tend to work in many of them at the moment. And she was colouring the butterfly from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, which I've already coloured in my second copy. So we made it a butterfly buddy colour. So I picked a page that had a butterfly on it, and I'm really pleased that I managed to get back to this book because I felt so inspired to work on this. And this page took me a fair number of weeks, probably 3 weeks of September, but it's one of those pages because it's detailed, just coming back to it and doing a little bit here and there and seeing the page come to life. I love her artwork. I think even though I did find her work very intimidating in the Flower Year, and I still do, I do like that some of these detailed areas are slightly bigger and enlarged in this book because it's a lot bigger. So the picture that I did was this one, and my colour palette for this really came about because of my colour palette for the butterfly. So this is one of my colour palettes that I do the most for butterflies. So I've done it on my butterfly from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I think the first one I ever coloured was on a Menuet de Bonheur page back in, it must have been 2017 now, before I started my channel. It was one of the first really nice books that I had. So I started off by colouring the butterfly because that gave me the inspiration for the rest of the page. So I don't really know, I think I saw a picture of this butterfly just somewhere online. I had searched butterflies and come up with this, and I really just think it's such a beautiful colour palette and something very unusual for me because it's quite bright. And so what I did was I coloured that, and then I did this big bloom here. And instead of doing a direct colour taken from the butterfly, I thought I would merge the purple and the orange together and make it lighter. So I did use lots of these peach tones with a few, I think I used crimson as the darkest tone, and I was using polychromos for this picture. So they definitely work together, but what I liked about this is that I didn't take a colour specifically from the butterfly, but it works quite well with it. And then I moved on to these purple blooms, which of course is taken from the butterfly, as is the yellow one. The blue hydrangeas are just a lighter version of the blues that I'd used. And then I had a predicament because I didn't know what to do with the leaves. I didn't know if I should do them green or a different colour. But I ended up doing them green, and I was a bit hesitant about doing that because I hadn't had any other green parts in the picture apart from the dragonfly body. And I had done some blue as the darkest shadow, but then a tiny bit of green. So I went ahead and did the green, and I think it works. I'd done a little bit of green highlighting on the middles of these flowers, but again, it wasn't really a large area of green. So I'm glad that I did it, but that was the bit that I was hesitant about doing. But yeah, as I said, I used polychromos. I have fallen back in love with them. I think they're gorgeous, and especially on this paper. This paper is quite smooth, but they blended wonderfully and they layered really well. And I don't have the full set, so I think I have about 70, which I built up over time at Open Stock. I think I started off with a 24 set and then slowly built them up, but I found that I had enough colours to be able to execute this page in the way I wanted to, and it would be lovely to have the full set at some point, but I am really, really pleased with this picture. The only thing that I decided to add in terms of embellishments was white gel pen. So on my first page that I did in this in June, I didn't add any embellishments because I wanted it to just be the pencil, and that's what I started doing on here. So on this butterfly, all of these white lines are just me leaving the page white and leaving that highlight there naturally, which I think was a sort of an unnecessary extra thing to have to do, but I'm glad that I did it because it meant that I didn't have to go back in with the white gel pen over it and risk sort of messing up these thin fine lines. So yeah, what I did was I just wanted the wings of the bee and the dragonfly to be a little bit brighter and separate themselves a bit more from the other areas of the picture. So yeah, I just went around them with white gel pen, and I'm happy that I did do that because I think it was just missing a bit of emphasis really. But yeah, that is my page and I'm really happy with it. So they are the completed pages that I finished, and I'm amazed actually that I managed to get these 3 pages completed because I was working lots and lots of shifts in September to try and get some money before I go away, and I had other things to do as well. So I'm really pleased. I'm especially pleased that I managed to finish this one because it was very detailed. But yeah, that's that one, and I am loving this book at the moment. It's one of my favourites. So yeah, they are my completed pages, and now we will move on to the pictures that I hope to colour in October. Okay, so let's set those books aside. Now the first page, as I said, is a whip in Beautiful Planet that I hope to, well, probably not finish but work on during October. And this is such a fun page. I'm really enjoying it. So it's this one. So I haven't done any more since I was doing my live stream, but yeah, I'm very much enjoying this one at the moment. If you haven't seen my Colouring Conjuries episode 4 video and you're wanting to know how I sort of came up with this colour palette, I'd recommend watching that. But I'm trying to find the picture. Here it is. I was inspired by a picture that Joanna Basford shared by Lucy Colourful World for her Secret Garden showcase, and yeah, I just loved this colour palette and I wanted to replicate it, but I didn't want to colour this specific page, so I decided to pick this one from Beautiful Planet. And it's not often that I finish a page from a book and immediately start working on another page in the same book, but I was just really feeling this picture. Even though it's a massive double spread, I just thought, well, I can work on it over several months, and so far I've been working on it for probably a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I just have not got bored at all. Even with all of these tiny details, I'm just really enjoying it. So I'm using Holbein pencils for this one, like I did with the first picture that I completed in this, and a lot of fine liner. So I mentioned the colour combinations for the daisies, the olive leaves, the brighter green leaves, and this colour combination that I started for this flower in my live stream if you're interested in checking that out. But yeah, I'm really loving it, and I'm definitely out of my comfort zone with a few of the areas, especially with the blue daisies, and I'm going to be doing some blue leaves in certain places. So that's definitely why I wanted to do this page, because I wanted to challenge myself and do something that's a little bit different. And because it's such a detailed spread, I'm not sure if you can see all of it. I'm sort of working and starting in one area and then just working my way through the picture that way. So before I carry on with much more of this flower, I'm probably going to finish up this section here, just so that that's completed. But yeah, I'm loving it and I can't wait to do more in this. A page that I would really like to do in this is the Squirrel Autumnal page. Autumnal? Yeah, Autumnal. I don't know if that came out wrong before. It's this one, and I would really love to be able to get this done in October and November, but I just don't think I will. And I don't want to get into the habit with this book of having multiple whips on the go, because especially if I'm using Holbeins for both whips, it will start confusing me with the different pencils and what's for what page. So I think this might have to be one for another time, but if I can, I would really love to be able to do it. I do think I have enough autumnal colours that I could potentially use my polychromos if I wanted to, but yeah, this is one that I love, so you never know, I might get to this one, but I'm not too sure yet. So yeah, that's beautiful planet. And then a book that I'm definitely taking with me is the Wild Mouse Yururi Adventure Sketchbook by Makiko Inotome. And Makiko has actually, well, has hinted at working on another book. That's what I got from the post, which I'm very, very excited about. And yeah, this book is one that I have been wanting to come back to for a while, and it just hasn't happened. So I thought, well, I will take it, and hopefully I will want to work in it. And there are so many pictures that I would love to do in the autumn section because I haven't done any yet. And yeah, I'm really hoping that I can get around to some, because some of them aren't too detailed, so I think I might be able to do at least one. But this is the first one that would be really nice to do, this sort of autumn introductory page. I've done the spring one. I did these last year. The spring pages were from last year, and then I did a Christmas page which I finished in January. So yeah, this one would be fairly simple. I'm not sure what I would do with the background, but I think this could be a fairly achievable page if I wanted to do that one. Then I also really like, where is it? I love them all, but some of them with the double spreads, I'm not sure with my other whip that I would be able to start another. I really like this one as well. I think it's a beautiful scene, and it's, you know, sort of cyclical as well. I really like it. There would be lovely autumnal colours and the opportunity to do lots of the autumn leaves, which would be really nice, but that is a little bit more detailed. But I think if I don't get to this book until the latter part of October, it might be that I start one of these Halloween pages, but I don't want to start them and not finish them, because I don't really want a Halloween page running into November. I don't mind if I have autumnal pictures running into November, because I will be doing autumnal pictures most likely then, but I think for me I would love to aim to be able to get one of these pages done on Halloween or before, so I would definitely need to give myself a 2-week period for one of these, I think, but I'll just have to see how much time I have. But I love both of them, and I've been wanting to get to them for a while, so we will see. They're really fun ones though, so any of those I'd really love to do. And I think it might be more likely that I do one of the autumn ones, because that can go through to November, but we will see. It's a beautiful book. Now I'm going to be taking Mein Herbstspaziergang by Rita with me, and I'm really hoping that at some point when my Meine Reise durch Africa book arrives, it will either arrive here and my parents will be very kind of forward it on to me at uni, or it might arrive beforehand, in which case I can take it with me. But yeah, I really wanted to take all her books. That's just not going to happen. So what I've decided to do is switch in her seasons books. So when I go back in January, I might take the winter one, or I might take the spring one, depends. But yeah, what I've decided to do is do it that way, and then just, yeah, switch them around a bit, I think. So yeah, this is Mein Herbstspaziergang, the autumn book, and Amber and I were thinking about doing a buddy colour in this book. She was very kind and just said that it's on your time frame, however long it takes. And I think if I was to do a buddy colour, the only thing I'm wary about at the moment is I don't want to, you know, say that I'm going to do one and then not be able to get around to it for a long time. I just really wouldn't want to disappoint anybody. So you know, if you ever want to do a buddy colour, I would be more than happy to do it, but please know that if I don't get to it for a while, it's not that I don't want to, it's just I simply don't have time, or it may be that with the little part of colouring time that I might have in a day, I might not feel inspired to do a specific page. So yeah, it would be really nice to do a buddy colour in this one, but it might take me months. But yeah, the picture that I had in mind, which I think I did share last month, was this one. I really like this one, but I didn't start it because I had all the flower pictures in Beautiful Planet. But this is one that I'd really love to do. It has so much scope for an autumnal colour palette. There were a few others that I really like, but they're double spreads, and again, I probably don't want to start one of those. But yeah, I loved this mushroom one, but there are always, you know, much simpler pages in this one. I do like the sunflower as well. I think that's a pretty one. And of course, there are really small images like the start as well. But yeah, it would be nice to get one page done in this book for this season. That's what I always aim to do with her seasons books. I think that's quite a nice goal to set for myself. But yeah, that's that one. So I will hopefully, every term that I go back to uni, I will have 2 or 3 of her books in circulation that I will be bringing with me. And then the same goes for, so Joanna Basford's Small Victories book, which obviously hasn't been released yet. I'm hoping to get that when I'm at uni, and I'm not taking Ivy and the Inky Butterfly with me. I don't have it to share in this video just because I know when I said last month, if I felt like coming to it, I would, and you know, if I didn't, I didn't. But yeah, I think Small Victories will be a staple book that I take with me. I just think it's the perfect concept for me, being that I'm not going to have much time. So that will be a fabulous book for me to take, and it's a smaller book. But it might be that I decide to switch it in with Ivy and the Butterfly every once in a while, or take both if I have room. I need to just suss out how much time I have in this first term, which is probably not a lot, but it'll be nice to have the options. This is why I've chosen a few different artists, just so that I have different options. So Woodland Watercolour is one that I also want to take with me. This is by Claire Therese Gray, and I'm hoping that this can be a buddy colour book that me and my mum can do together. So she's also got a copy, and we did some pages when we were in Croatia. Now, we haven't picked a specific page. It would be really nice to do an autumnal one if she's up for it, but there were a couple of ones that I just thought were really nice in this book that would be nice to do and create an autumnal colour palette. This was one that I really liked with the hair. I don't think it's necessarily meant to be autumnal, but for me, I definitely think it would be lovely with an autumnal colour palette. There's this one with all the leaves. That's really nice. I can imagine doing a really fun background for that, and then just filling in the leaves. That would be quite a mindless one to do. I think that would be nice. The most likely one would probably be this one. I know my mum and I both really, really like this. And it's kind of nice because there aren't any names of the things either. So the things, what am I on about? The fungi and the mushrooms. So it's quite helpful because it means that I don't have to go away and make sure that they look fairly accurate. I can sort of make them whatever colours I want, which is nice. So that is the other option, but I'll just see it. It'd be really nice to do something with her whilst I'm away. And there are also, I forgot to mention, sorry, I'm useless with this today. There are also some winter pages and Christmassy pages. So, you know, if I don't get to any of the autumn ones, we could always do a Christmas one when I come back. So yeah, that's that book. And then the final two that I'm going to share with you, I'm not sure if I'm going to take with me. If I do take them with me, I'm not sure that I will even get to them, but they're fairly small, so it's not, you know, it doesn't matter too much if I don't get to them. So the first one is I Believe in Fairies by Clara Markova. This is one that I've been wanting to get back to for quite a few months now. When I initially started colouring in these, it must have been, when was it? Was it no, I think it was 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, I honestly can't remember. I think it was 3 years ago, because I remember doing this Christmas 2020, I think. Yeah, I originally wanted to do one a month and get them finished that way, but that hasn't ended up happening. But yeah, the one that I think I flagged last month was this one, which is a nice Halloween one, but it's not too Halloweeny, so I wouldn't necessarily have to get it done by October. It could run into November as well. There are a couple more, like this one would definitely be one that I'd want to get finished before Halloween is over. But yeah, there are 3 more autumnal pictures that I have left to do. So yeah, I think this is a really good one to take because they are smaller images, more realistic to get finished, but I don't think I will necessarily get to it if I've got other things that I'm working on. And then the final book is a new book to me, and I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to take this yet or not. This is by Edith Holden. This is the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady colouring book. I came across this randomly, and it's actually been out for many years, and when I showed it to my mum, she said that she had, or her mum had them when she was younger, but she definitely heard of it before. And what I was really excited by was you can actually get her diary, and you can buy the actual thing, and the pictures are so close. So this book is basically has recreated her original diary in colouring book form, so a lot of the pages are very similar. Now the only reason I'm wary about taking this with me is because I would want to, like The Flower Year by Lily Julia, I'd want to work on the specific month. So the October month, and this tends to be the same with the flower year, and obviously as we go into the wintry months there aren't quite as many things to choose from. It tends to be more leafy rather than flower heavy, of course. So there are some really nice pages, but I'm not sure if I would get to them. So it might be that I choose to bring this with me in my next for my next term, because starting from January, especially March and April, I think there are a lot of options. So yeah, what I do really like about this book is I wouldn't necessarily feel the need to complete a whole picture in one in one go. I could easily just colour one flower and leave it. It's really nice, this diary format, and as you can see they've kept some of the entries that she put into her diary alongside all the images, which I think is really nice. So yeah, this is sort of a maybe book. I know that I'm not going to get around to all of these, so I think it's just making sure that I'm going to take books that I think I'm realistically going to be able to work in. But yeah, that's everything that I have to share with you. I really hope you've enjoyed watching, and I just hope that I can keep up some sort of schedule whilst I'm away. I don't really know what that will look like at the moment, but I will definitely keep you all updated. I would like to try and aim for 2 videos a month if I can. 2 or 3 a month I think would be hopefully realistic, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this new part of my life, and I can't wait to bring you all along with me. So yeah, I will see you all in my next video, everyone. Take care. Bye.